We are now recording the session, and we were advised that Jean is no longer on drugs, so that's good. That was pain medication, right, Jean?
Right, drug
All
free.
right. So hopefully the sound will stay such that we can keep all the lines open. On your own side, you could always mute your phone, hopefully, or even mute your computer if that's what you're using for the sound, so that we don't get background noise. This is a marketing discussion today, and why travel apps should be a marketing discussion. A couple of people have asked me that question. Well, it's because promoting ourselves, what we do, and being able to advise and consult with clients is so important. I hear some background noise. Can someone mute their phone, please? Gonna give it a minute. Terry, I wonder if that might be in the background where you are.
A closed door. I don't know.
Can you put the mute on your computer? I know it looks like you're using the computer for your sound.
Hey, not sure how to mute the computer mic.
Ah, well, let's see. I
If
can
the
probably, you know what? Let me just individually take care of that. I've left things so I can do that. No worries. Okay, we'll see if that takes care of it. For right now, Terry, you're muted. Sorry, but I was thinking that might be background on yours. Welcome to everybody. And as I was saying, I think it's pretty darned important for us to be aware of what's going on. And if our target audience were millennials, they would be jumps ahead of us in everything to do with smart device and apps. It's important to them, and they care about doing a lot of things on their phones because they've grown up with that. Some of our target members uh, are not or clients are not particularly as up to speed or savvy, but boy, do they appreciate when we can share things with them that can be a benefit to them in travel. That's our job, to really help our clients make travel even a better experience for them. So the question was asked of me, and I won't put background noise. Maybe I need to try that. Do it again. Okay, let me try that again. There we go. Uh, the question was asked of me, what do we mean again by this apps thing? I know it's a little abbreviation that's been around now for a while, and we just sort of happily, I do, assume that everybody knows what we're talking about. We used to talk about software, right? Software that would go on our computers. Then we talked, and that was software programs. And we talked about applications. We called those programs applications. Then shortened the whole thing down and called it apps. That's all this is. They're little bits of programming that may already be on our computers, our tablets, our phones, or they are little bits of programming that we can add to, particularly our smartphones and tablets, to do a kind of a specific task. So these aren't ginormous big programs and applications. They usually are somewhat limited to a particular task. And in that sense, they don't take up tremendous amount of room, but they can do just amazing little jobs that are important to us. Now, I got to tell you, just because I read it this morning, if you see someone at your grocery store and they're holding their smartphone up when before they buy something and they're scanning the barcode, they may be price comparing for all of the grocery stores in their area. Now, I can't imagine going to that much trouble to find out if you could save 20 cents by buying something somewhere else. But there's an app for it, and you could do that if you wanted to. So the proliferation of apps, and in the area of travel, it's one of the top areas where there are these little bits and pieces, and we want to obtain these from safe sources. We want to have good recommendations before we would advise anybody that this might be worth looking into. That's important before we even get started. So here are some. Are these the top 5 apps other than those itinerary apps that we talked about last week? The TripIt, the Check My Trip, the Tripcase, those are probably for us the really most important apps that we can work with our clients. Are these the next top 5? No, nobody could really say that because nobody would agree on it. These are just 5 that I've picked that I think might possibly be something you would be interested in or would recommend to clients. And I hope you'll jump in and say, oh my gosh, Carol, what about? Because there are so many good ones. And I know, Jean, you mentioned a couple that you really like. So that's great. We want to share what we think might be something of interest to our clients. And that depends on who your clients are and the target. And if they're not even using smartphones or tablets, they might not care about any of this. But more and more, our target clients are using these things and they are caring about, wow, this is what I can do on my phone. I wonder if my travel agent knows this. I mean, we don't want that to happen. So these are the ones that I'm going to just spend a minute with here. The first one is probably the one that will seem, I don't know, seem what? A little more complicated. It is such a wow. And if it doesn't do anything more than remind us that there are all kinds of ways that we can keep our devices secure if we lose them, if they are stolen from us. And some of us, and this would be me included, we don't even bother really looking at ways we can lock our devices and protect them without an added application like this. I'm very guilty of that. Whatever, I'm not going to lose my phone, except of course the time that I did lose my phone. So this particular app, has anyone heard of Pray?
No.
That ring a bell with anybody?
No.
Okay, so here's what this application does. There's actually 2 parts to it. With this application, you would sign up. I love that on this sign up page it says, we've been expecting you. It's like, we know you're going to need us. It's kind of fun. They do a good job with being a little lighthearted about a very, very serious subject. So the idea of Pray is that you sign up and you then have your control panel, and your control panel is something you can access from any computer anywhere. So it's an online control panel. And what you do is you put your devices so they are accessible only when you have to log in and you would have to activate Pray on these devices. Otherwise, it just sits in the background and doesn't do a darn thing. You can't even tell that it's on your device. So these are my devices that I put on here. My computer, my laptop that I haul around with me and is very precious to me, and my cell phone, my smartphone. If I were to lose one of those going through an airport, if it were to be stolen from me, or I just drop it somewhere and somebody takes it, there are these amazing possibilities for me to be able to protect my device and also to help me get it back. So I just think this is a fabulous thing. Here are some of the things that I could do. This is my cell phone. If it got lost or stolen, now again, I would have to go to a computer, either mine or another computer, and log into this little control panel here for Pray. And then I have some interesting options. I can use the location device that's already GPS in my phone to find out where it is. I can find out and get a report of any networks that are being accessed from my phone. The webcam on my phone, this is my favorite part, can actually be remotely activated to take a picture of the doofus that has my phone. It's absolutely possible. I mean, it's pretty amazing. An alarm can go on if you choose to just, hey, I think I lost it. I want the alarm to go on so it gets found. So alarm can go on. You can have an alert. This is like science fiction. You can have an alert that flashes and says, hey, we're on to you. you need to not be stealing this phone. It doesn't quite say that, but it says you're being tracked. You can also, and this is important to me because I don't lock my phone on a regular basis from outside, jumping in. You can lock it remotely. So, with your phone, with your tablet, with your computer, this is a way to have some extra layers of security or some extra information to give to a police. You see that there are reports that are generated. So, you could say, here's a picture of the guy using my phone, here's his Facebook account, because you can see what they've been accessing. I mean, it's amazing stuff. It's a little sci-fi, it's a little woo woo woo. But if you get on the website just for your own interest and look at some of the comments that are being made and the stories about how these devices have been found and have been restored to their owners because of this program, I just think it's a very, very interesting product. Anyone familiar with it at all, or some other programming that does the same thing?
No, I'm playing with it right now. It's pretty cool.
Isn't it cool? I mean, in one way it makes me all twitchy about, oh, I know I'm going to lose my computer, but I don't do much to protect it. I really don't. So it sort of heightened that awareness. And now someone asked me yesterday, where do you get these apps? And that's an important thing to mention. You want to get your applications from a source that you trust. You want a recommendation or a good 10 recommendations from sources that you trust. Most of the applications that you will get for your phone will be either from, you have an iPhone, you're going to get it from the Apple store or whatever it is that gets them on iPhone for you. If you have an Android phone, it's going to be from Google Play. That's where you get the various applications that you might want on your phone. You can also get these apps from iTunes sometimes, from Amazon. They're offered by the individual developers sometimes on their websites. Let's say you're on, let's pick Delta Airlines. You can get a recommendation, get this Delta app. Now, why do you want the Delta app on your phone? Anybody? Why would you want an app for an airline on
So
your
I know
phone?
when my flight's going to be late.
You want to know everything about that flight. You might want to have your boarding pass on there. I do. I love it that my boarding pass can be on my phone instead of
Instead of
having to print it.
standing in line at the counter, even you can just sit there and keep watching the updates
Isn't
on
that
the Delta app.
sweet? I mean, it
Mhm.
really is. And if you haven't discovered that for yourself, I bet some of your clients have, or they would be thrilled to know about that. They might also be thrilled to know about this. I don't know. It's not our favorite thing in the whole world, TSA. They don't have a huge vote of confidence from everyone, but they have an app and it's pretty jazzy. I want to mention here many apps, if not most, are free. At least they have a free version. So this isn't costing you lots of money to have this information. Now, an airline app will do a lot of the same things if you are going to be flying a certain airline all the time. Having their app can be absolutely a great thing. Having an itinerary app like TripIt or TripCase that, again, will give you some updates and information about your flight and what's changed, that can be just as helpful. What the TSA app does, though, and I think this might be great for people who don't fly all the time, or maybe great for people who do fly all the time. It's going to give you the updates of things like which airports and which places are going to have pre-check available, because that's changing all the time, those checkpoints. Um, what what is likely to be the wait time getting through TSA in Atlanta the Sunday after Thanksgiving? I mean, getting some idea of what to anticipate timing wise at the airport. I think that would be very cool. There's also a little menu and features that you can see there where there's just some up to the minute, what can I bring? What can I pack? You know how that changes, and can I bring liquids and little containers, big containers? You might be really up to speed on it. Your client might appreciate having a little just immediate, okay, this is what TSA is saying today that's going to work for me. So I think it could be a worthwhile. What do you think?
I think it's great, especially for your corporates with the wait times and stuff. I don't know about anyone else, but my corporates are always running at least 45 minutes behind.
And for most people, they don't want to be at an airport any sooner than they have to. The corporates particularly. Anyone else
Right.
have a comment? So this could be good. Take a look at it, see what you think. You can see that this screenshot that I put up here actually came from iTunes. iTunes is where the iPhone version of this is available, but it's also available for Android phones. I mean, I just happened to grab this screenshot. So interesting stuff. All righty, here's another one. This has been around for a long time. I'd love to know what your thoughts are or comments are on something like Seat Guru. Anybody? Nobody?
Are they, can we talk?
Say again? Yeah.
Oh, well, I have it. I have it as a favorite on my computer. I use it all the time.
This is Nancy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hi, Nancy. Welcome. So, why
Yeah.
do you use it all the time? What are you doing with this, Nancy?
Well, people are very uh, definite about where they want to sit and where they don't want to sit.
As they probably should be these days. We all know that just because we know what the aircraft is, we have no idea what the configuration is going to be on the seats. And the next time I fly, I'm pretty sure there are going to be straps hanging down from the ceiling, and I can, hold on to those instead of having a seat. I don't know. Maybe not. But I'm just saying it changes all the time. And there are people that really care about, well, is the seat back going to be able to go back? Um, where is my seat located? How many seats? Is it two across? Is it three? On some of the smaller aircraft, going to be three. But the other thing that Seat Guru tells either you, if you have it like Nancy does as a favorite on her computer, she can be the one telling the client, or the client can have it as an app and they can look it up themselves. Depends, but it's great information because it will tell you how close your knees are going to be to the seat in front of you. It will actually tell you about the size of the seats and how cramped and crowded and miserable you're going to be. And that's worth
Hey
something.
Carol,
Yes,
hey Carol, this is Arnav, and
I know.
also one of the more very useful things on long flights is it tells you if there's a power outlet, how close it is. So if you want to power up your laptop or any device, now people with kids have play movies for their kids sometimes if the plane doesn't have any, or even if it does, an entertainment system. Sometimes they bring their own. So a
Yes.
power outlet and stuff like that is very important as well.
Interesting. So all of that information is available on Seat Guru. I mean, that's fabulous. So whether you go, whoa, I need to look at this so that I have this information for the client, or I could offer this as an app for the client. It depends on your clients, doesn't it? Some of your clients want you to do all of this for them and suggest things and help them, and others want to have some tools and right at hand want to be able to do their own thing. So you have to decide. I think we would be making a big mistake, though, to think that it is only that young techie, we call them the millennials, that care about some of these applications. I just think that's a mistake. It's not true. It's changing much too fast for us to think that is the case. So let's take a look at another one. I sure hope somebody knows a lot more about this than I do. And Arnab, that might be you I'm depending on. An application that is called WhatsApp. That's cute. We like that. We can remember it. The idea of this application is that you bypass the texting, the SMS on the phone. You're able to do all of the same kinds of things, including the multimedia, sending of pictures and files and video and stuff. You'll do that without going through the texting which can get very, very expensive, especially if you're out of the country. It's less expensive than calling, but it still can get pretty expensive if you want to be sending pictures and things. Now, you could do that sort of thing through, say, Facebook. Others say and feel that this is a much more secure way to do it with this application. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with it.
I used this one this summer. I had a group of 8 recently over in Italy and Greece.
Who is this?
And
I'm sorry.
This is Jean.
Jean.
Yep, and this is how we contacted back and forth to each other, because one of my clients was handicapped. He's confined to a wheelchair. And we had everything lined up, of course, before they went, but I just wanted to make sure things were going fine. And I could send them a message through WhatsApp, and we communicated this way the entire time they were gone. If they had a question or anything came up, or they just wanted to say hello, thank you for the gifts, thank you for a tour, whatever, it was phenomenal. It was the first time I
So you set
had
up a
used it.
group, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We all were using it.
One of the keys to this is being able to set up a group where only within that group, I mean, it's only going to be the people in that group, and you're going to be communicating with everybody in that group, but nobody else is going to be seeing this or getting in on it. And there are those that feel like if they do it through certain other technologies, that there might be others that can, the security will not be as sound as it might be. There are other ways to do this. I was just surprised that this was so huge and so many people are using it worldwide. And it just seems like for those going out of the country or those wanting to really limit to a specific group and then be sending without sending it as a text message, it seemed like a good idea. Anyone else use this?
Carol, I haven't used WhatsApp, but there are so many nowadays.
There
The
definitely
hottest
are
ones right
others.
now. Yeah, on my phone right now are a couple that I can recommend. Viber is one, and then there's something else called Talkatone. Talkatone, the cool thing is not just on traveling, even when I'm in the US, it can link up with your Google Voice account, which is free, as you know. And then what it does is you can phone calls and text messages to any number.
Ah,
All you need is a Wi-Fi connection. That's it. So it doesn't even use your data.
and I
You can
thank you
just
for
use your.
mentioning that because I kind of skipped over that. It's in the language here on the screen. But yes, of course, you have to have some way that your device will be sending this information. And in this case, it is Wi-Fi rather than using the data from, a cell phone usage. So tell us again, maybe nice and slowly, what those two are that you think are helpful.
Sure. It's one is Viber, Viber.
Viber. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And the cool thing about Viber is, Skype and there's some echo. Somebody has speakerphone on.
We
Or
just got somebody with an echo, which maybe we can take care of. Try it again. Whoever just joined us, we're getting some background noise. I'm not sure. I may have to mute everyone and then just unmute. I may have to unmute you, Arnab. That might be what I'll do. Oh,
yeah, I think it's better now. I
it's
think
gone.
it's better.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, so Viber was one, and the cool thing about Viber is that it links up to your phone number. So if you want to see if a person is available or not, you can just do it through. You don't have to turn it on like Skype does. So it's a question of presence.
Okay.
Viber is one tool, and you can send text messages and voice. You can call them. And the other one that I was referring to is called Talk a Tone.
Talkatone.
Talkatone.
See, here's a really important point. I know who this person is that we're talking to. He's come into our organization and really knows his stuff in the IT world. So anything that's recommended by Arnav, I'm all over it because I know he does his homework and he uses these various applications when he does extensive traveling. So it's important that we have an idea of what the source is, that we do our homework, that we decide that, these things are something of value. It's the same as back in the day when we did a lot more maybe downloading onto our computers. Got to be careful. You can't just be grabbing any old anything. So having the recommendations and getting an idea of how something works is really important, and matching it up with what might be helpful to your client. You're not really going to worry about recommending something that's helpful out of the country if your client's never traveling out of the country. I mean, that's sort of obvious, but when they are, there's a lot of concern about how do I stay in touch? How do I not spend a fortune? What'll work on a cruise ship? I mean, you've got some tech answers that you could give and recommendations that I think would make your clients very, very happy, even if it's only one recommendation and there are 5 others that would be okay too. That's all right. So let me move on here. This just is my favorite. And I have, I have to have a Google something in here for those of you that know me at all, or have known me for a few years. You know that I've kept close track of a lot of what Google is doing and what I think they're best at doing. I'm an Apple girl too. I do a lot of things with Mac and with Apple computers, but when it comes to certain things, and voice is one of them that I think Google has just been working on a long time, and the translation. Google's been doing this for a long, long time, and they've really got it good. Now, Google Translate for the mobile phone, this is my favorite thing, and I have it on there even though I'm not traveling anywhere. But I love it that I can talk into my phone, say whatever, and have it come out in speech from my lovely phone voice in another language. I just love that. Now, if I were in a country where I needed to have perfect and flawless French spoken, I would love it just as well, because then I could say in English whatever and have my phone, say the French the way it ought to be said, so I don't get snotty looks from the waiter. So anyone use Google Translate in any way on their computer, now maybe as an app on their phone?
Absolutely.
Yes, I do.
It's fun.
I have my clients loaded on their phones all the time.
Yep, yep, yep. And it's not just the way that I'm talking about it, although that's what I use it for the most. But actually, if you look at some of the features down below here on this screen, the whole idea of actually translating or foreign scripts being changed into what we can recognize or vice versa. I mean, how great is that? This is just something that I don't see why you wouldn't recommend to any client that is going someplace where there is going to be any kind of a language difference. It's just too sweet, don't you think? Oh, you all think that. I know you do. Okay, so Google Translate for mobile. If you've used it on the computer, you'll find it to be even more valuable when it's on a phone. So back to our question. How important is any of this? How important is it for us to keep up with any of these apps that are available for clients? There's thousands of them. How are we possibly going to keep up? Let's just forget the whole thing. It's too hard. What do you think? Come on, be brave.
I think it's important because not so much maybe for our millennials, but for the old folks like us. You have your client sitting here and they're going overseas and they don't speak the language and they're concerned, am I going to have trouble finding this or doing this or whatever? And I sit here and I'll go through them. I'll have them get their smartphone out. You've got these 80-year-old ladies sitting at my desk with their smartphone. They know how to use the phone, so why not teach them how to have some fun with it so that they can do things while they're there? I just had a mother-daughter get back from a 12-day Mediterranean, and she was so cute. She's 85 years old, and oh my gosh, this lady's a trip. And she had so much fun using Google Translate, for example. That's one of the ones she used. And she goes, I could just say whatever I wanted to, and they knew what I was saying, and they thought I was good. It gives them a sense of security, I think, to have that, so that they can travel and be at ease with themselves, and not be hesitant to think that they're going to miss out on something. And the same with the What app, with that group of 8 that I had over there in Italy and Greece this summer, just back in September. Same way, it was a peace of mind. They know they can call me 24/7. They know I'm going to answer. But if they just have a quick question, and they want to find out something, or whatever, they still have access to me, and it's free. They don't have to worry about making a phone call. It's totally free. And with the world that we live in nowadays, we're all connected all the time, and I think it gives a little bit more relief to our passengers, and I think it sort of gives another value to us, because we're the ones passing this information on to them. They didn't book their trip online. They weren't told about this information online. We sat here and took the time to do it with them, show them how to use it, and things like that. So it just puts more value, more stock in us.
I just love it, Jane. Thank you so much, because it is easy to discount a lot of this, saying, my clients are not that into it, but helping them to discover some of these things, even the app from the airline, for instance, or an itinerary app, and then some of these fun things that are sightseeing apps, and where to find a bathroom. There's an app
Oh
for
yeah,
anything.
sit or squat. That's one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
exactly. What a
Been around
favorite.
for years.
Say it again. I talked over you.
Oh, I'm sorry, sit or squat. It's put
Yep.
out by Charmin, and it's fabulous. It's great, and my clients, they love it. I sit there and tell them, here, download this one in case you get stuck and you need to find a public restroom,
Hey.
because you can't ask them for a bathroom. They're going to send you to go take a bath. So I mean, depending on the country you're in, you have to know what you're asking for. So if you have sit or squat again on your phone, you just put it in, it picks up your location, it shows you where the closest loo is. So it's a good thing.
It is a fabulous thing, and being one of them there older folks myself, I think it's a crucial thing. That is a great one. And I didn't think to put it on here. Thank you for bringing that up. It is a super app. Now, since we've just decided it might be important, I'm going to go here, because if you want to keep an eye out for what is going on and who recommends what and what some of these good travel apps are, you can't be looking at the thousands. You need to have it narrowed down, and you don't want to do much work on this yourself. That's too much of your time. So this is my other favorite Google thing. I think I probably bring it up every time we have a call. But Google Alerts. If you go to Google Alerts and put in your search query, I just put plain old travel apps on here. And the minute I put it on, boom, Google says, you mean this? Brings up a bunch of possible summaries and stuff that might match up what I'm looking for. If I think I've got it right, good. If I want to change my search query and say, oh no, I want top travel apps or best travel, I can change my query and see if I get something a little better. But then what I'll do is set that up so that Google will send me a summary of what's out there, because Google is tracking all this all the time. That's what they do. So let them track it for me with something I'm interested in. Show me only the best results once a week. Send it to me in an email. And then if I want to click on a link and something here looks interesting, then I'll go and I'll look and find out more about it. It'll depend on the source. I can get it, web things, blog things, news articles. I can get it from a lot of different sources. That's the only way I would suggest that anyone is likely to be able to keep up with these apps that just keep rolling and rolling and rolling, literally thousands of them. I know some of you use Google Alerts for a lot of different things. This is another one you can have. I don't even know if there's a limit as to how many travel apps, excuse me, how many Google Alerts you could have. You wouldn't want to have too many, you'd get too many emails. But you can have more than one. You can have 2 or 3 or 4 where Google is on the lookout and providing you with information that's going to be helpful to you. I love that. Are there any other comments? I don't have other things that I plan on going over today, but anyone else, did something come to mind? I hope you'll let me know if there's anything along these lines that I can be helpful with, or that you want to talk a little more. If there was anything that seems a little confusing on it, Google Translate, some of the others seem like a bit of a no-brainer, but again, it may not be something you've used before or feel comfortable with. More than happy to help you with any of that. And I appreciate so much your attending today and your contributions. We have recorded things, and I'm going to make a big point of putting it out there so that others hopefully will be able to listen in and get some of this information, especially the great input from you folks. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Bye
you.
now.
Thank you.